Day 35 of rereading my Bible, and I read Numbers 35 and 36. Both of these chapters seem to just go off on a tangent and address random things. But if I've learned anything so far, nothing in the Old Testament is random, and the things that do seem random usually are a reflection of the future gospel to come in the New Testament. So 35 talks about the cities that were set up for the Levites, and that 6 of them were to be refugee cities. So these cities were safe places for people who were accidentally guilty of manslaughter. They could take refuge in these cities, and there no one could bring judgment against them, and they could live there until the high priest died. And once the high priest died, they were free to leave that city without any judgment or consequence outside of that city. Chapter 36 has to do with inheritance. There was a man who had 5 daughters, no sons, and he was a part of a tribe that was not that big, and the concern was that his daughters, if they inherited the land, if they married men from other tribes, that inheritance would be lost from their tribe, and that tribe would diminish and eventually disappear. So God decreed that they marry other men within that tribe in order to keep the inheritance in that tribe. I can't even pronounce the name of the man, but you can look it up. So in order to keep that inheritance within that tribe, the women were to marry men within that tribe. Again, super random, right? But then we have to think about what these things are foretelling or forecasting, and what they say about the character of God, that he cares about justice and grace and inheritance. And we see in the New Testament that those of us who are guilty of sin essentially find a refuge in Jesus from our consequences of sin. And when the high priest, Jesus, when the high priest passes away, or Jesus is sacrificed for us, we escape those consequences. We are now free to move about and not suffer the consequences of our sin. And that once we have received an inheritance, that inheritance will not be taken away.